Welcome back to the final episode of Deadwood Dale. Final episode before the tour, obviously. We are still going to do a park tour, don't worry. This is going to be an interesting episode because I am full of cold or flu or whatever it is. It's not COVID, I've tested, but it's something and it keeps making me sneeze and cough and I'm off work and not feeling very well. So you'll have to bear with. But yeah, it's the final episode and you can already see just there by my cursor what this edition is. Now this is going to be kind of a two-part intro because there is two rides in this episode. Look at the Vekoma. Only one of the rides is in at the moment and the next ride will be in a few minutes, so stick around. But yeah, I'm really excited to show this because this actual coaster, at least, isn't mine. It is a guest on the channel has made a coaster for this park, and I kind of need to show you a little bit from the air about what was kind of wrong with what I was doing and why I reached out to help from this creator. But yeah, without I'm stuck on the train tracks. Without this creator, this area would have looked completely different. Do you get the joke? Quality Deadwood. Yeah, it's a sawmill. That's the theme we're going for. It's a wooden coaster, obviously, why wouldn't I? But yeah, I'm just loving the way this looks. But I'm going to explain, basically, why this is here. Now, I did really want a wooden coaster for Deadwood Dale, and I knew that quite early on. So there was quite a few different iterations of like wooden coaster designs that I've made, and I wasn't happy with any of them. I really wanted them to interact with the terrain, as the one does that you've just seen. But I was really struggling to make the coaster unique, but also I didn't want it to be too thrilling. Like, I think this was probably way too big for a first attempt, and the actual layout really just consists of lots of off-axis moments, and there was like bits that were too slow and stuff, so I thought I'd go for a simpler approach. I really like the look of the new Gravity Group family coaster that I can't remember the name of. Well, that one. Yeah, I really wanted to do something like this, so there was quite a bit of like researching I did into this coaster. I decided to go for Gravity Group as well because I haven't really done one of their coasters before, so I had a bit of a mess around doing some of their layouts, again looking at the terrain of the area that I had to play with, but again it just kind of felt a bit bland and lots of just curves and yeah, like kind of boring turns. I think this was probably the most interesting one out of the one that I built. But as you can see by some of the... That's horrible. As you can see by some of these drops, it was way too intense for like a family coaster like I wanted. So then I kind of went a little bit back to doing something just a bit simpler, I think, where like it's not got a really big first drop. And obviously I was building this on the land where the coaster is now, and it just didn't work. Same with this one. This was probably the designer was feeling the most, I think. It's a very obviously standard Gravity Group family coaster layout, but yeah, it still just wasn't working for me. The first drop is obviously way too steep for a family coaster. The profile in the one drop's horrible, and then it kind of goes into that same twist that the one I'm being inspired by that I can't remember the name of does, and then it does. I don't mind that twist there, but yeah, it just wasn't really working out too well. So basically after this, I contacted the person who I think is probably the best wooden coaster builder I know. Really good coaster builder just in general, fantastic coaster builder, but wooden coasters seem to be his specialities, and I knew exactly who to contact for my wooden coaster that I wanted. So I hit up my good friend Mr. Antonio, who I didn't actually know had Planet Coaster on a PC, well a laptop at least. Because obviously most of you will know Antonio is a console builder, or will be for the time being. But yeah, I messaged him and was like, please help. I was really struggling with a wooden coaster, and I knew that he would know exactly what to do for that. So yeah, that's where this layout's come from. Obviously it's very similar to... Oh, I'm going to have to find out what it's called. That's what it was called, it's Bobcat, but obviously similar to Timber as well. They're both a very similar layout, so I'll run you through what he's made, but I'm so happy with it. It was honestly, I was stuck in such a like creative block and didn't really know what to do for the coaster, and Antonio's completely saved this area, so thank you so much for doing that. But like I said, this isn't the only guest creator we have building a ride for this area, so keep watching and you'll find out who that might be. But yeah, really happy with the way that this has turned out. Antonio I gave him the just the template park file, which is in the workshop, and told him that the coaster needed to fit within kind of this area, and I drew a little outline for him with the sand paint tool. But I said that it needs to be mostly a family coaster, a little bit family thrill, because obviously the rest of the park is family coasters transitioning into more thrilling coasters with the last 2 weeks episodes. But the coaster needs to take up kind of a good portion of this area. But the crucial thing was that you can see the trees here, like this one, all these ones around here. It couldn't destroy any of these trees. Like obviously that's the rule for the rest of the park, and I've gone and done the whole park like this, that none of the trees in that existing template map can be like moved or deleted or destroyed or anything, because they probably all have like tree protection zones and everything. So yeah, that was one of the main challenges for this coaster. And yeah, I really like the way it looks. They're kind of hugging that tree at the top there. There's this tree and this tree and this, well yeah, these four basically that are in the ride area. And I just love the way that the coaster not only hugs this landscape, but just looks like such a presentation thing. It just looks really nice, like even for when you're on the ground level here, it just looks huge, but at the same time, obviously it's a family coaster. It's nowhere near as big as the Vekoma, obviously, but I really, really like the way this looks. And it feels like he's very much designed it around how it would be viewed from paths as well. Like, he knew I was going to put a path in along here, and the train was going to go along here as well, but it feels like the way that it's kind of, oh, press the wrong button, the way that the ride's kind of composed visually is that, like, I'm making hand movements so you can't see them, like the higher up parts are like further back and the lower down parts are more towards the front, and it makes you just get really nice views from pretty much everywhere. And then after he sent it to me, I went and added some custom support pieces, so I added these. I need to add a few more of those, and then obviously I messed with the terrain to make the paths work and everything. I added these extra bracing parts on this turn here. He added some of the bracing parts where the track goes underneath itself. I added some of the what they're called, supports. Some of the supports on here. My cold brain is not working. Some of the supports on that corner, a couple more supports here, and then this whole section was just using this wooden part. But I really like the way that Gravity Group have been doing some of their newer coaster tracks, where like some of the catwalk will be missing. Like you'll see it a lot on Zambezi Zinger, where the parts where it goes really close to the ground, it doesn't have the catwalk on. It has this kind of like strange lattice structure where it gets really close. So that's what I've done. I turned off all the supports on, well, the catwalk at least, just so you have these like, oh, nice auto-save lag, just so you have these supports here on these footers. And then I've gone and actually custom done all the footers, because they were normally the square ones, just for this section, and then put all the supporting around the side there, and I think it looks really nice. I've finished it off here because there was a couple of supports that were obviously going because of the path, so I put in a few more there. Put in an access ladder, put in some more of these beams, just like Antonio has for the rest of it. Yeah, and it just looked really, really nice. To actually enter this area, you enter down here, so I might have to put a couple of signs to kind of tell people where to go. You get such nice interaction with it, and then you enter this like little lobby waiting space before you get into the actual queue, and then the queue comes up here. I need to fill back in some of this landscape, and I just kind of put it out the way before I messed around with the queue. And then yeah, I need to edit all of this and make sure that the queue works and give it a nice station building and everything. And then the exit ramp is how this ride is wheelchair accessible as well. It's nice and flat, and it has these landings every now and again as well, and that brings you out just next to the coaster's entrance here. But yeah, I'm really liking the way this looks. It looks fantastic. It's timber yard, obviously, like a sawmill. It's a wooden coaster, very cliche theme. And then I'm gonna put a food place in here with a little bit of a raised seating area. I just thought it could look kind of nice. A little bit different as well, having it raised up. But that is not all we are having for this episode. As well as this amazing wooden coaster, we have another creator making quite a small but very highly detailed and themed ride for this area, and it will be our park's next flat ride. Here it is, the Drop Tower by Dan's Theme Park. I'm so happy with this. It's nice that we have another flat ride in the park now to go with the Skyfly and the balloon one, and I think that's it, yeah, it's just those two. But now we have a like properly themed dark ride. Well, flat ride, but it is kind of a dark ride as well. I'll show you what I mean. So I've put in this path which you approach to it up here, and I want to say thank you so much to Dan for not only building this, but for also doing all the path work. Dan sent me it as a blueprint. Oh, it looks so cool. Dan sent me this as a blueprint, and then I've tried to put it into the park, but just the way that how complex all the pathing works and everything, I asked Dan to do the pathing for me, and they've done a great job, and I'm really, really happy with it. So we'll have a look inside the Deadwood Caverns and I'll explain kind of how this fits into the area after we've had a look through the queue, which it does say to enter at night. There we go, it's lovely and spooky now. Enter and ride at night. Look at all this, there's so much detail, and we are in the Deadwood Caverns now. And this is quite cool as well. I don't know whether you saw me right from the start of the park actually put in quite a few of these posters around, and by the time I got to the end of the series I wanted them to make sense and to kind of be this like local legend sort of thing. And now this ride incorporates that, which is fantastic. Bandit activity this week, 7 incidents, that's not good. I love the audio down here as well. It's really nice and immersive. It goes really far down as well, there's another poster there. Really far down, right underneath Deadwood Dale, into these mines and these caverns. Still going. I love this. It's so immersive immediately once you're like down underground. Keep going, there's another poster there. Keep going a little bit further, here we are. And here you have, which I assume might be the bandit himself, or the bandits, there's 2 of them. And then, yeah, you can see the poster there as well. I love that. It's like a little interactive while you're in the queue, and then you come around the corner. Warning, bandit sightings 4 just today, oh no. And then we have our drop tower. This is giving so many vibes of Mystery Castle at Fantasialand, which is brilliant because I absolutely love that ride. It's such a fun ride, and I've never really found any sort of way to get inspiration from it to put in a Planet Coaster park, because obviously the only drop towers that we have in this game all face outward instead of inwards, so I didn't really know what to do, but putting this drop tower underground and enclosing it like this just works perfectly, and I'm so happy with what Dan's done. We'll take a quick ride on this. Oh, there's a custom ops cabin as well, I never saw that, that's really cool. We'll take a quick ride on this, and then I will read you a bit of the theming that Dan has provided me, like explaining the story for this and everything. It's really cool. There we go. I absolutely love that. It's so cool. I wanted to take a ride on it now because obviously this ride is finished. So yeah, I'm taking a quick ride on it. I'm in the wall. Taking a quick ride on it now just to really show you all the amazing theming and effort that Dan's put into this. I absolutely love it. It's just so immersive and it's such a unique idea as well. Like burying this drop tower so deep into the ground to obviously give it the theming of the mines, like I mentioned before. And yeah, I'll explain more of how that fits into the area in a bit, but especially with, I never thought a drop tower was possible for this park because of the height limit, so having it like this just works so well and I'm completely in love with it. It's so cool. I've got the exit down here. Again, just I love the theming throughout all of these corridors as well. Like there's so much going on, but at the same time like it feels like really claustrophobic and intimate while you're in here. Bandit sightings 5 today. Oh no, these bandits are getting worse as we go through this attraction. They're everywhere. I just love this so much, and you work your way back out of the mines. And obviously this is all ramped as well, so perfectly wheelchair accessible, which is great to see. And then we are back outside. I hope you like that little view of the park at night as well. You'll get more of that view, or you can see the Max Striker. You will get that whole nighttime experience in the park tour, which I'll provide lots of nighttime shots of the entire park. But yes, here we are back outside at daytime, and that is Deadwood Caverns. And basically that's this episode. I will be theming in this wooden coaster for you now, and then I'll do a POV at the end of the episode of obviously this coaster and show off this whole area completed. And then that will be it for Deadwood Dale. Like I said, I have in the previous episode, I have cooked the coaster that was going to be in this area. But you'll see what that coaster was in the park tour at the end of the series. But I'm still going to neaten up this area about where this coaster would have come from and stuff to make sure it all fits. And then that'll be it for the tour. Deadwood Dale will be finished. But how it actually fits into this area, actually, I'll obviously talk more about this in the tour when I show you the coaster. But these were the Deadwood mines. So this coaster, it's probably, you all know what it was. It's yeah, it would have been a coaster to do with the Deadwood mines. And the coaster itself would have actually gone out onto the island, and yeah, you'll see that in the tour. But as you can see, this area now, it's kind of like its own mini area, like the mines area with the mine shaft of the Deadwood Caverns, and then the actual mines themselves with this attraction. And then it makes this area fit in really nicely as well with the coal refinery, how they would have probably put the coal and stuff from the mines on the train tracks and brought them around to the coal refinery to get it all sorted out. And obviously there's the oil and the other industrial stuff. Like, this whole Western Park's just so much industry. And then this coaster here is obviously themed to like a sawmill and like timber and everything. It's like just a really thriving Western village, and I'm so happy with the way it's all turned out. I've started to add a little bit more detail on the hotel as well, but I'll wait till show you that later once it's finished. But yeah, I'm so excited about this. It's really cool. I'm really happy with the 2 guests that we've had on for this final episode, and expect more guests in Park Series in the future. That's all I'll say. I've been planning for Planet Coaster 2. I've been planning, even though I'm still very ill with this cold. It's like 3 or 4 days later, and I feel worse. But yeah, I will get this area finished, I promise. And just quickly before we get into the final part of the episode, the coaster for last week's episode has been named Black Gold. There was quite a few suggestions for this. I think Antonio might have been the first, but I'm obsessed with the name. I think it fits with the theme so perfectly, so that's why I've chosen it for the name for the Vekoma Mega Coaster from episode 6. And here we are at the final part of the final episode of Deadwood Dale. This feels so weird. It's like slightly emotional. It's strange. It's my last park of Planet Coaster 1, and you can already see the final additions that just peeking over the trees. Though obviously this definitely isn't finished. There's a couple of bits I need to go back and do before the tour. Like, I need to go and do the that restaurant, and I need to go and do the hotel as well. There's quite a few bits to finish off before we have the park tour, which will be next week's episode. I don't think you can see the hotel. Yeah, but there's the hotel, interior of that restaurant, a couple more bits. But yeah, you can see the Vekoma. It looks so cool. I love the views you get from this park. But yeah, I'm so happy with both the additions for this week's episode, and I'm so happy that I've managed to get 2 really awesome creators in as well. Look at the drop tower there. It just fits in so well, and I love how it's like up on the hill a little bit, so it really makes a feature of it. Then you can see the wooden coaster there. Oh, it just looks so cool. I love how this area has come together. It feels so natural. I've missed a bit of the fence there. Don't look. But yeah, I love this part here as well. Obviously, I will mention what is going on in this space in the tour, but I just love the way all the nature integrates together in this park, and what goes on in that island as well, and in this big hole. I'll mention that in the park tour. Don't worry. Put some binoculars in as well, so you can get some nice views of the coasters. I'm stuck on the binoculars. There we go. Where are you two running to? Yeah, I love all the views of this park. It's so nice, and I'm really happy that it's nearly done. But like I said, slightly emotional. The train goes underneath as well, so no smoke comes through the path. But yeah, look at it. Well, look at the Vekoma, but also look at the Woodie and the drop tower. There's so many nice things to look at during this park. I put a nice water feature in down here as well, which was an absolute pain with how the water works in this game. Oh, nice reflections. But when I was building it, I was like trying to get all of the terrain and stuff to work around it. Oh, look at the coaster going around. I keep getting distracted. This always happens. Some really nice profiling Antonio's managed to get here. You would never believe that he did this on like a little underpowered laptop that was probably not built for Planet Coaster, but he made it work, and he made it work very well. Look at the speed of it, it's flying around. Yeah, I was trying to make this water feature, and I love the way that this drop tower looks up here, just perched up at the top. Deadwood Caverns. You get some incredible views of it. It's so cool. Like I said earlier, I had no idea how I wanted to get a drop tower into this park, but I thought it would be a cool fit. I need to give you like proper uniform, but it works really, really nicely, and I'm so happy with it. I just hope I can get like a little glimpse of what's going on as well. You don't really realise how big the drop tower actually is, which is quite a bit like Mystery Castle as well at Phantasialand, which, like I mentioned earlier, is something that I really wanted to replicate at some point, but I just didn't really know how to. But I'm obsessed with how Dan's made that. It looks so good. Look at this. The coaster sits so nicely. I love it. Oh, I just love watching it fly around as well. You get some really nice views. Just look at all this. It's just wood everywhere, obviously because it's a sawmill, but I just love how it's like composed on the hill as well. How like there's parts of it that are lower down and higher up, and it kind of like climbs up the hill and gives you like loads of different levels to look at. It's just so cool. It's just, I absolutely love it. Both creators have done an incredible job this episode. I'll definitely be working with more people in the future. It's been really, really fun to do. Look at it go. I had to put this in. Quality Deadwood. I thought it was quite funny. But obviously, yeah, Deadwood, because this is the Deadwood Dale sawmill. Look at the profiling on that. There you go. Absolutely flying around. So cool. I love it. I can't stop looking at the profiling. Antonio does great profiling, as you all probably know by now. This little raised seating area as well, with loads of nice bits in. The water feature that I mentioned earlier, this was an absolute pain to get right. Every time I kept messing around with the terrain, it kept deleting all the water out of the main pool. Like I just turn around, it's like, oh, it's gone. So that was a right pain to try and solve, but we did it. Hopefully the water physics are a lot more kind how they work in Planet Coaster 2. Oh, I love this. Yeah, I built this little raised platform up around this turn, like I mentioned, and it's wheelchair accessible with the ramps as well. It just kind of, it separates how close you are to the coaster from the main pathway as well, but also does give you that opportunity to get really up close if you want to. Kind of the same for the, why is that speaker here? I think I need to go and add all the speakers around the ride area. That's why that's there. It's to remind me. Leaving little reminders to myself. You two just having a nice rest. Yeah, look at the views you get of it. It's so cool. I can't stop looking at it. I love that as well, like that sequence of the first drop, how it's like sat on the hill. Oh, they've moved now. They must be wanting to go on the coaster. Look at it. It's so majestic. It's zooming around. Oh, see? Oh, maybe not. They don't want to go on the coaster. They're going somewhere else. But we are going to go on the coaster. I love this little like pre-plaza that I've made as well. It just perfectly fits within this helix. And I did let Antonio choose the name because it's Antonio's coaster. Same with I let Dan choose the name for the drop tower, the Deadwood Mines. Now we have Tiny Timbers. I love the name. It's so cute. Obviously it isn't tiny. It's quite a big coaster, but obviously it's like a big family coaster. But I thought Tiny Timbers just worked really well. It's a very cute name. But we will go on the ride. I've put it in test mode at the moment. There's no guests in the queue or on the attraction, just because I didn't want people's arms flailing around as I was trying to get the video. But I really like how the queue works as well. The terrain works really nice. Get a little view of the drop there. Ooh, good timing. I love the way this looks. It's so much like nature and rock work and stuff going on. It's like all overgrown. I just really like the way it looks. Oh, I might have forgotten to put some of the barriers on that path there. Never mind. But yeah, that's your accessible ramp to get up to the station. Is also the station's exit as well. So you've got like your landings and stuff. So it's not all one big ramp. You come up here into kind of a small bit of cattle pen. Obviously I tried to not do loads of cattle pen in this park, but there was kind of like a pad in between the lift hill and the first drop that just made sense to put a bit of queue. I put some lights up the lift hill as well. You get some great views across the whole park from here actually. Let's see if we can go a little bit further up to get some more views. But you can see really far. You can see the spinner from here. Wow, okay, that's cool. The two coasters with the lights going up the lift hill. That's nice. There's just lots of wood around this area. I really like, oh, you can see the Vekoma too. I was going to say I really like the way that this all, hello pigeon. There is a pigeon there and it's floating. Magician pigeon. What was I saying? Yeah, Vekoma, nice views. Nice views pretty much everywhere really. But we need to go on this coaster now because I like waffling. The station is just lots of beams. There's a couple of bits of more landscaping that I need to finish when I do that path. But yeah, it's just lots of wood. That's just this coaster. Just lots and lots of wood and beams and more beams. Quite a minimal station this one. Let's get to the end of the park series, so that's my excuse for this. I might go back and add a bit more detail to it before the tour, so I need to for the rest of the park. But yeah, I love the way it looks. It's quite nice and simple, just lots of different types of wood. Lots of wood in this ride. Lots and lots of wood. It's got some nice lights and everything. But I think we should take a ride on this coaster, don't you? I'm excited to get on it. I hope you are too. And there you go. That was Antonio's Gravity Group wooden coaster, Tiny Timbers. It was so good. Obviously not so tiny, but it's still a really fun ride, and I loved theming it as well and giving it the attention that it definitely deserves, because it's just such a fun coaster. Very, very nice layout as well. It perfectly fits the space, and yeah, it's just exactly what I asked for. Obviously I need to put the railings on this path. Just don't fall off, it'll be fine. A few more touching up bits to do before the park tour. But yeah, it's nearly finished. We're very nearly there. Final build episode. We'll have a look from above so you can really appreciate the scale of this coaster. There we go. Quick look at the coaster from up above, and this whole like last quarter of the park just feels really complete now. I'm in love with the way it looks. Just Antonio again did an amazing job with this wooden coaster. You can clearly see what it was inspired by, but I like that you've added your own twist to it, and the fact that it just fits with this area of terrain so perfectly. Because all I gave Antonio was the kind of the blank map park, like the template one that's on the workshop now, just so like Antonio could see what to do with like the terrain and everything, and you've just made it work so perfectly. And then Dan had this really tiny plot to work with, like smushed in between this coaster like and the train ride and Antonio's coaster, but he made it work so perfectly, and with how like unique it is with this like underground drop tower, which I would have just never thought of, and the fact that it fits in with like the mining theme so perfectly as well. You've both just done an incredible job, and these two attractions fit together so nicely, and it's a really fitting end to this park series, and I just love it. And yeah, that is the end of this park series now, which is quite mad. I never thought this would really happen, to be honest. It just didn't really cross my mind that like this park would finish at some point. It's just a weird feeling. Obviously we've got the tour, which will be next week. I've still got a few tweaks to do, like obviously I need to finish the hotel, I need to finish this restaurant, a couple of other bits around the park as well, but yeah, then that'll be it. Then, once the tour's gone, it'll be Planet Coaster 2 time. It's so weird. When I started this park series, I never thought Planet Coaster 2 would be a thing. Let alone did I think I would start this park series and know it was going to be a thing and have to keep that secret, which was so difficult. But yeah, and now that I started planning this park series around the timeline of Planet Coaster 2, and it's now come to an end. That was the final build episode. This park series is pretty much done. A couple little bits, park tour, and then that's it. This is what, is it my 7th park series? I can't remember. There was Dream Park or Dream Worlds? Then there was Western Adventure, and I did another mini park like Adventure West, so I won't count that, but that's 2. Then after that there was Peak Park, then Adventura Italia, then Wonder World, then Voyager's Adventure, and then this. So that's, is that 6th park? No, 7th park. I can't count. Yes, this is the 7th park I've done, which is mad. 7 parks in 3.5 years of making videos. That is absolutely mad. If you want to know more about my Planet Coaster journey, and like YouTube journey, I'll have a video coming out on that very soon, recapping the last 3.5 years of my YouTube journey and Planet Coaster 2 playing experience. I suppose the video is going to have a better title than that, I promise. And obviously in the tour I'm going to explain what would have happened here. But at the moment, this is your tease. Where's the sign gone? There's a new attraction coming soon, which has actually been cancelled, but I'm going to kind of stage it in the park tour as if they're building it. So yeah, that's how that's all going to work. But yeah, that's it. last build episode for Deadwood Dale is complete. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sure I've said this many times, but the support on this series has been absolutely ridiculous. I really appreciate each and every one of you for watching, commenting, liking, if you subscribed, especially channel members as well. It's been an absolute wild journey, and I think this is probably the park series that's had the single biggest impact on my channel, as well as all the PlanCo 2 stuff going on at the same time. It's been absolutely mad. Yeah, I couldn't be happy with where we are at the moment. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week in the tour for Deadwood Dale. Stay safe. See you then.